It's just before Christmas. It's very, very late at night. Anne-Marie's been asleep for a while. When I got home from work this evening, she handed me a card. I thought, oh, that's lovely, she's giving me a Christmas card. And I opened it, and inside I just got this, a card that says that. Which is all very well. But when you've got as much to do as I've got to do, it's quite, if you slow down, you just get less done. Anyway, very thoughtful card of her to send. And first thing, before I get into this video, which is about the 10 best things that happened on my channel in its first year, well, its first 9 months actually, is I want to introduce you to 2 new members of the Proudfoot Lamdin family. So, this is Rosie, and this is Morge. Yes, Morge, M-O-R-J-E. And Rosie and Morge are about 8 weeks old, and although I'm not a cat person, I'm a dog person, Anne-Marie is a cat person, and these were her Christmas present, but the children named them. Clara named this one Rosie. Archie named this one Morge. No idea why, but that's what he wanted to call him. And they're a lot of fun. So I'm sure you'll be seeing them in more videos soon. I would let them go on my desk, but I just think it's going to end badly if I do that. So let's put them back in the middle. So in this video, I'm going to be counting down my 10 favourite moments from my YouTube channel for this year. But before I start that, I just want to quickly cover a couple of astonishing facts. It was only just over 9 months ago that I uploaded my first flight vlog. And, by the way, every single video I mention here I will link to in the comments below. They'll all be linked there, as well as maybe there. And it was 9 months ago, and I had 1 subscriber when I first started the channel. I had 30-something subscribers when this flight vlog came out. And that's had 6,800 views. And 6 weeks later, I had 100 subscribers. And 6 months after that, I had 1,100 subscribers. Which was mostly thanks to the video I did explaining how the canards work, which was just me babbling on by the plane for 10 minutes. There was no flying or any action in it. And that, on its own, has had 88,000 views this year in 9 months, which I just can't get over. This personal vlog channel was just meant for me, a video diary of fun, some fun record of fun things I get to do sometimes. And unlike most YouTubers, I don't have time to set up shots properly and to think about them in advance. I tend to just go out in the car or in the plane or with the kids, holding my phone or chucking a couple of GoPros up, and then just see what comes out of it. And that's really all I've done, because you know I'm running several businesses and family and homeschooling 2 kids and handling a lot of other things as well, like court cases, and I just don't have time to go to the lengths most YouTubers do. So I wasn't expecting the channel to do anything of the kind that it's done. So if you are one of my subscribers, welcome back to the channel, and thank you very much. I massively appreciate the fact and get great reward from the fact that you want to watch more of my videos. So without further ado, let me get into my top 10 favourite moments of the year. So starting off with number 10, it was my first proper flying vlog. It was actually my second flying vlog, but I did 2 flights and 5 landings. And the reason it was my favourite is because it was my first proper enjoyable flight of the year after lockdown. I've got my Sky Demon ready, got my plug printed out, and the most important thing of all, of course, good pilot's breakfast. See you up there. I just had an amazing time, and I blew the cobwebs out, and I felt like a amateur private pilot again. But after a few weeks of not flying, you start to forget, like, really, am I a pilot? Is this real? And it was 3 months, of course, because of lockdown, so it was great to blow the cobwebs out. I think one of those takeoffs was at Compton Abbas Airfield, and on the takeoff run, a bump put me into the air at 30 knots and the plane was flying, and it was just amazing.
Oh, that was 30 knots we were off the ground. 30 knots, I can't believe it. Unbelievable.
So, number 9. In May, I spontaneously decided to get in the plane and fly myself to Scotland. I'd never flown that far away, solo. Never been on that long a trip in this plane. And it was an amazing flight. The whole trip was amazing, and there are 6 or 7 videos from that trip. But the flight up there, and it was the first leg when I had to go over the Peak District, and I found myself in really quite challenging weather and high mountain peaks around, and But it just felt amazing to be doing that. It was challenging, but I had it under control, and the turbulence was the strongest turbulence I had encountered in any light aircraft up until that point. There was another flight a bit later that was even worse, but it was bouncy. There was rain, there was wind, there was low cloud, there were mountains, and I'd never been there before, so it felt like a real flying adventure.
I'm not bothered by turbulence normally. But there's something about a very turbulent flight when you're in uncharted territory. You're not familiar with the surroundings. Makes it a bit more uncomfortable.
Number 8 was also a moment from the Scottish trip, and there were lots of great moments, but the real highlight was, and I think the video is called My Most Beautiful Flight Ever in the UK. It was flying up the Great Glen from Glenforsa airfield, where I'd spent a couple of nights, and tore the arse out of my trousers, and there's a very funny little vlog about that. But I didn't realise how bad it was. It's really bad. Up the Great Glen to Newhall Mains, where I spent 2 or 3 nights as well, which was a fantastic place with a brand new, very smooth grass airstrip. And I got to meet Ewan there, and I got to fly out for dinner to Dornoch Castle Hotel. And but that flight up the Great Glen was just sensational. It was a magical flight, and it was an amazing thing to be able to do, and I had an amazing time. So that's why that's number 8.
Just look at that. Look at that. Oh, I've always heard how good it is and how beautiful it is up here, but until you actually see it for yourself, with your own eyes, not a camera, but with your own eyes, it's difficult to explain.
Number 7. It took me a while to find the time to get. I had to renew my IMC rating, and I had a couple of. There's a couple of videos of me having some refresher training, and I did manage to revalidate my IMC. And I then, not long after that, an opportunity arose when I was flying back from Sussex to Dunkers, when the cloud base was low, and so I got up on top, and I had to fly through IMC. So it was an IMC flight. It was solo. And it was my first solo IMC flight where I actually flew in hard IMC for some of it, the climb and the descent into Exeter, and I had to use Exeter's ILS runway 26 to do a cloud break descent before breaking off and going back to Dunk as well. And that was that felt like a fantastic moment, because I was very nervous and I had to push myself, but it was fantastic. It was the flight that I lost the GoPro on the wing.
So that was hand flying in hard IMC on my own. Only the second time I've ever done that. And right now, I'm going to turn on track.
At number 6, my top 10 favourite things of this year was my epic, is the only way to describe it, my epic day of flying myself from Dunkerswell to Norway, with a refuelling stop in Holland and another refuelling stop in Denmark. It was nearly 9 hours of solo flight. It was my first flight solo into Europe from the UK. And it was a very eventful day and a fantastic day. I left at the break of dawn and just had amazing weather. And I had a lot of eventful things happen on that flight, including being turned back by Belgian ATC. But what an adventure. And I really felt like I'd broken through a barrier that I'd been afraid of breaking through for a long time. I pushed myself outside my comfort zone. I found out what I needed to know. Some of them were known unknowns, but I also discovered some unknown unknowns, like the requirement for Mode S transponders in certain airspace classes in Europe. But what a day, what a flight, absolutely amazing.
So what are you doing in Norway?
So it's a business trip, and I'm getting there by seaplane. So I'm going from here to Notodden,
Okay.
get into a seaplane. Yeah, and I'm isolating in the cabin. But I understand that I need to quarantine because you don't accept the British vaccine yet. But that's okay, that's why I put the address where I'm going.
This video, when I published it, got more views faster. It was my fastest video to 1,000 views, okay? And it was the return flight from the Isles of Scilly with the family, with Anne-Marie and the kids. And Anne-Marie cannot go more than half an hour in a plane without needing a pee, even if she just peed before she took off twice or 3 times. It just doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what we do. I think it's a psychosomatic problem.
I can't. You better not put that on YouTube.
But in this flight, and it's wonderful, a quote of her saying, "You better not put this on YouTube." And she had to pee into a sandwich box. And that was just a really fun moment at the end of a really lovely family holiday trip. And I enjoyed greatly publishing that video, much to her frustration. She was very cool about it though, actually. She's a very cool girl.
Sorry, you're... Oh, this is too good.
Oh my god, this is taking so long.
Maybe you think you need it more than you actually need it.
Hey.
Don't sit on it and spill it.
At number 4, and this video has not actually been published yet. It's been filmed, it's being edited, it hasn't been published yet. I took Archie to Norway to fly the Seaplane, and there was such a big build-up. We flew commercial to Bergen, we spent the night in a hotel, I had spent hours organising fuel, and there was problems on the docks, and it turned out to be my least favourite day of flying seaplanes ever, for reasons that you'll find out when the video is published. I will link to it when it is published here. But I'll show you a clip from the video now, and it is just this hilarious moment when, after all of this immensely exhausting preparation, and we finally got on the plane and were taxiing and warming up the engine, and Archie slept through the entire flight. He missed it. He missed the whole thing, start to finish, out like a light, and it was sort of the crowning turd on my day, actually. But looking back on it now, it was a fantastic moment, and I can't wait to publish those videos. Number 3. This video is out, and it's my first full day of flying the seaplane, the 180 seaplane in Norway, and flying it with a couple of German commercial pilots, and getting to fly the plane for the first time and flying up into the mountains, landing in a mountain lake. It was by any standards, it was a magical day in general aviation, which seaplane flying often is. I think the highs are higher and the lows are lower when you're flying seaplanes. I think other seaplane pilots would probably agree with that. But this was a magical day. Absolutely breathtaking, surreal, like something straight out of a dream. It really was. So that was my number 3 favourite moment. And it was probably on the beach at that cabin. Number 2, this video hasn't yet been published, but it's about to be, I hope. It's been taking a lot of editing, but it was my first flight with Clara. Clara came to Norway, she flew commercially, unaccompanied, aged 6, and I had spent a few days getting familiar with the plane, so I was comfortable flying it. And I flew her from Bergen into the fjords to go and stay at a fjord hotel, and landing in that fjord that I'd never been to, I hadn't done a recce, it was a totally unknown sight to me, and arriving in this, it was like a scene out of Lord of the Rings, it was so beautiful, in this incredible fjord, on this beautiful water and this amazing scenery, and landing there with my daughter and me in the seaplane that I own a share in, just felt like one of the happiest moments of my life. And it had been such a long time coming, and it had been such hard work to make it happen. But in that moment, it all felt worth it many times over. It was such a special day. Which brings us to my number 1 favourite. And this is the first time I got my whole family in a seaplane and went for a flight. Now, it was actually my 4th trip to Norway this year when Anne-Marie and I flew with the children, commercial, and we went for a week and stayed at a cabin in the fjords. But it was at the end of October, the weather wasn't great, there were all kinds of complications actually with the seaplane that week.
Your seat's buggered. What? I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
and we only managed one flight that whole week. But I got to fly my whole family in a seaplane in a wild place. It felt like the first big step down the road towards the dream of traveling around the world with my family in a seaplane. That was the day that dream started to really come true. And for that reason, it was my favourite moment of the entire year in the vlog. It's been 9 months. I've published 94 videos in 9 months. I've got 10 more being edited at the moment. There have been some delays on that, but they're coming soon. I had no idea this time last year that I was even going to start a YouTube channel, and I definitely had no idea that it would have the following that it's got after just a few months of publishing these vlogs. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy any others that you watch. Please do subscribe if you want more. And if you're a return regular viewer, thank you very much. Thank you for all of you who've sent me encouraging and supportive comments and given me good feedback. Thank you for those of you who've given me constructive feedback on my flying mistakes. Plenty of those, as I'm sure you all know. Please stay safe, fly safe, have a very happy 2022. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.